Welcome to the Got Any Cows podcast. If you want to learn all you can about the beef cattle industry, this is the podcast for you. My name is Seth Christensen. My company has sent beef cattle genetics to 45 of the 50 states and 12 countries around the world. I've had the chance to learn from some of the best and brightest in the beef cattle industry, and I invite you to join me for those conversations here on the Got Any Cows podcast. Hey buddy, appreciate you being here. It is awesome to sit down and record again and take the time to be together with you here on the Got Any Cows podcast. It has been a minute. November got wild enough. We actually didn't get one of these done for the November auction. In November, just to give you a little bit of a preface, just kind of how our year ends up looking. So on a normal year, we calve September, October. It's kind of past the summer heat, but ahead of the winter cold for us here in Idaho. And so we get those cows calved out, and then pretty well right after, we got to start gathering cattle. And they're spread all over the valley. You know, we had them in 6-8 different pastures, and you have to gather each of those, bring them home. And so, November, you go right from all this calving in September and October to gathering all these cattle from everywhere in November, and now they've all got babies, and gathering the babies is a whole nother thing. I'd have like Aaron come on and tell you all about Aaron and Dan and Lexi, bless their hearts for tagging all those babies and weighing those babies, vaccinating those babies, and so there's all these new babies, and gathering babies is a whole nother can of worms or bag of calves, bag of cats. I don't know, like it's a lot. It takes a minute to gather them in, so you got to bring in all these cattle from all these different places with all these new babies. And then you got to start immediately into synchronization, and we're trying to, and the synchronization protocols, the one we use most often is the 7 and 7, and a 7 and 7 protocol, it's 3 times through the chute, and 2 weeks of shots, and then you watch for heats after that, and then you implant a week after that. So, you're north of 3 weeks of process just in getting these animals ready to implant and put embryos into, and AI cows and everything else. So November's chock full of gathering cattle and synchronizing cattle. And then right in the thick of all that, now we start into the holiday season. And so we're trying to make it to family events and Thanksgiving and had a family reunion and all these different pieces, all of which are great things. You know what I mean? Like I'm so thrilled that we have these calves and so grateful we live where we do and have family around us and so much to be grateful for, but it is a lot of good things all at the same time. And then in November, running an auction as well, ended up doing a Facebook Live, which I appreciate everybody that jumped on there, everyone that communicated with me on that Facebook Live, everyone that participated there. Thank you for your support there, where I wasn't able to get a full podcast done that month. And thank you all, everyone that supported the auction. Just so grateful and so humbled. Our November auction sent product to 30 states. 30 states in one sale. So we've sold product into 45 states and 12 countries, but to do 30 states in a single sale, single night, one day's worth of transactions, and to touch 30 states, I think plus Canada. Plus Canada. And so to have that kind of reach, I guess, all in one night, just so humbled and so grateful for each of you and for your support. And the auctions are always fun and neat in the sense that, there's always things that sell strong. There's things that are a real buy and a real bargain. And I want people to get those buys, and get a chance to really step into some equity on some of those lots and be rewarded for showing up and participating. I appreciate each of you that take the time to listen to these podcasts, each of you that take the time to hop onto these auctions, each of you that purchases from Christensen Genetics, wherever you may be, because you're the ones funding everything from the family end of all of what we do here to the gathering in those cattle and paying all the people that help here and being able to put these podcasts together, is not a free endeavor. There's a ton of work put in on the back end of this by Jacob. Jacob does all of our filming and editing and distribution, and it takes a lot. And it's a lot of moving pieces. And the only way to fund all of that is through the sales of the genetics that we supply. And so it is not something I take lightly. Everyone that shows up, everyone that places a bid, even if you're not the winning bidder, it takes two people, takes two active bidders to make a lot bring what it's worth. And so I so appreciate each of you and your participation in these sales. And I hope we can continue to provide value in these sales. I'm really excited about what we have coming on this year-end auction. And excited to get a chance to go through it with you because, like I mentioned, we just finished going through calving, gathering cattle, synchronizing cattle, did a huge embryo transfer project. Big shout out to Ty Barnard there at Windstar. He's been on a previous episode with us, as well as Sean Powell from Forefront Genetics. Both put in a lot of work in addition to the crew here. Lexi and Aaron and Dan and Sage that's been in our vet tech right now, and Shane that's come in and put in some day work, Alex as well. Just really appreciate all the people that have come and put in a lot of time and effort to make these things happen, because it isn't just me. It's just me sitting here tonight. It's just me sharing some of what's in this upcoming auction, but it takes a team to make all this happen. In addition, everybody inside. This auction that I'm about to walk you through, Haley put a lot of time into assembling this auction. Courtney helped put together all of the pictures, the registrations, all of that. Chelsea is going to take all that and put it up on Smart Auctions. She was just on a recent episode with us, and it just takes a lot of people. So yeah, we've been wild, crazy busy. Didn't even get an auction overview podcast done in November, but we did get an auction done. And like I mentioned, extremely well supported, sold product to 30 states, 60 of 60 lots sold. Anyway, just really humbled by that degree of support. So now here we are sitting in December. We are still breeding cows a million miles an hour. I AI'd cows this morning. I AI'd cows tonight. I'll AI cows again tomorrow morning. There's going to continue to be animals to AI. There's going to continue to be animals to synchronize. There's going to continue to be animals to do embryo transfer on. We've got IVF embryos that are fresh. We've got frozen embryos. We've got conventional embryos that are fresh. We've got different groups on different protocols. We're bringing in feed. We're bringing in straw. The guys are working on hauling that in late tonight, and it just takes a lot, and just really humbled and grateful, and what a blessing to get to enjoy this lifestyle and get to work with these good people and these good cattle. Yeah, a neat thing. But with all of that going on, I definitely love the holidays. My wife sometimes thinks I don't like Christmas. I do like Christmas. There's just a lot of it, So, between trying to do all of this with the cows, plus trying to do all of this with the auctions and the podcast and all the family gatherings and just day-to-day happenings on the ranch, trying to keep cattle well cared for, and then trying to do the very best we can to keep making these cattle better. And it's a significant task, trying to make sure we are selecting the right bulls to carry forward with, trying to make sure we are selecting the right donors to carry forward with, trying to make sure we continue to provide value in these auctions and bring really unique things that you can add to your program, that you can use to build your outfit, that you can use to hopefully go forward and generate a strong return and help provide for your family and your ranch and all of the things you're trying to accomplish on your individual operations. So without further ado, I am going to jump right into what we have in this auction, and I hope that it can provide value for you both as you look at options of things to potentially buy, but also just to get a feel for what our program is, and then how it relates to especially the Akaushi breed, but also the Angus, Hereford, and Charolais breeds that are represented, to hopefully provide some insight into what we're doing here and why we do it. But without further ado, Lot 1 is really exciting, and Lot 1, it is painful to let one this good go, but that is what brings people to an auction. That is what rewards you for taking the time to listen, for taking the time to be here, for taking the time to show up, to bid, to competitively bid. I want you guys to be rewarded. This is a super unique individual, a super exciting donor cow. This is a cow we've talked about a lot of times before on the podcast. This is a cow that is one of my all-time favorites. This is John's #1 favorite in the herd of all the cows that we've had here and all the years that John spent here, and appreciate him and all that he's done here in the business. And we are offering as Lot 1 the 88 donor. So CG Polled Queen 88. This female, as the name would imply, is polled. So this is going to be a polled purebred donor. If you are looking for polled Akaushi genetics, you need to bid on this donor. This is not a like, well, you know, there'll be another good one later, or oh, there'll be these other cool options. Like, well, you know, there's always another. This is a cornerstone kind of cow. This is a big time kind of a cow. This is a cow that you can build a program around. This is a cow, if you were only going to have one polled Akaushi cow, this is the cow you should have. This is the cow that we have built around. The only reason I am willing to let this cow go, as much as it pains me to let one like this go, is we have an extraordinarily good flush out of her on the ground right now. We have a whole series of calves. This cow flushes extremely well. When we flushed her last fall, she gave 13 transferable embryos. 12 of those turned into viable pregnancies. All 12 carried to term and are on the ground, and they are fantastic, exceptionally good. If we didn't have that flush of calves here and on the ground, I don't think there's any way I could bring myself to part with this cow. But the cow has done what she needs to do for us, you know, in bringing that kind of a flush to the forefront. I mean, this, if you were to say one flush, one group of calves out of the whole crop here, that's it. The Guapo by 88 calves are exceptionally good. So if you're looking at a cow like 88, a polled Akaushi donor cow, first, I guess I'll walk you through why you'd want polled Akaushi, then why you'd want 88, and then kind of what I'd do if I was to get a hold of this cow and make this purchase, and how best to leverage the value of those genetics. Because this cow should go be a donor. This cow has been a donor here. This is a big time embryo producing cow. So starting with polled Akaushi at large. So polled for the definition of polled, for anyone that's not familiar, means naturally hornless. So rather than having to dehorn or remove the horns from an animal, they are born without horns. So CG Polled Queen 88 is a polled purebred Akaushi. So she does not have horns. She was born without horns. And so you don't have to worry about the time and effort it takes to dehorn. You don't have to worry about the fact that it's always painful for that calf and is going to set them back on their rate of gain. That stress can set them up for infection and or disease. It is never a positive thing to have to dehorn cattle. It's a necessary thing for a lot of horned cattle, but the very easiest way to dehorn is to do it genetically, and take those horns off by having the right set of genetics versus having something that's horned. The polled purebred Akaushi have been exceptionally popular for us here. It's what got me into Akaushi. It's been the base of our program for a long time. So not dealing with horns is a big deal. And then if you're looking at Akaushi for the first time, why would you get into Akaushi? The most simple way I can put it is that Akaushi is a Wagyu breed, meaning they come from Japan. They make exceptional quality beef. I mean, exceptional. Like, please come to Western Idaho and let me feed you Akaushi beef, because there's no going back. And I mean, I say that as an Angus breeder. Once you've had Akaushi beef, there's no going back. It is exceptionally good. A delicious end product. But quite often when you look at Japanese cattle at large, at Wagyu cattle at large, the end product is great. The carcass is fantastic. The beef is delicious. It's a wonderful eating experience, but the cattle are quite often lackluster or less than exciting. There's not a lot of growth there. There's not a lot of muscle there. There's not a lot of yield there. They take a long time to finish. So there's some hindrances, I guess, to Japanese cattle at large, or the black Wagyu specifically. The Akaushi or red Wagyu gain faster, have more muscle shape. They're excellent footed cattle. So if you're looking to fix things like foot and structure issues, which are really prevalent in a lot of breeds right now, they'll do that. They're excellent uddered cattle. So if you have cattle that have got big loose udders or things like that, they'll fix that. They are going to do a nice job of being low input. They're not overly big cows. They don't milk overly hard. And because of that, they are cheaper to feed. So you're going to be a lower input cow, cheaper to feed, longer lasting, more fertile. So all of the productive benefits are there on the cow side of things, but you are putting the best possible steak on the plate when you get over to the finished product side. So Akaushi as a breed is just a really unique value proposition, saying, hey, we can make the cattle better and the carcass better, instead of it being like, well, it is just a great carcass or just a great cow. It is both. And so if you're not in Akaushi, this is the kind of cow to start with. If you're only gonna have one, a cow like Polled Queen is the kind of cow to have. Polled Queen herself, her dam is our 919 donor. 919 has done over $300,000 in direct progeny sales. That is cash money in the account for direct offspring of 919. That's not even counting all of what 88 has done. It's not counting what all of her full brother Davy Crockett has done, who is our #1 all-time semen sales bull. It's not counting what her grandsons, like the all-polled bull, have done for us. It's not counting what her great-great-grandsons have done for us that are now in production. The 919 cow has been a huge revenue-generating cow, very much a recognized name in the industry, so if you're looking for some marketability. As far as carcass quality, she is going to be our #1 Big Al daughter on actual carcass ultrasound for marbling. This cow scans well beyond Prime Plus on actual carcass ultrasound without any corn. So looking at 919 for a long time was our #1 scanning cow, period. I mean, she is so high in 3 consecutive years against all other donors. She was our #1 scanning cow. And she's just recently been passed by the Katie Maru cow, but still an exceptionally high marbling cow in 919. 88 would also be a maternal sister to Atreides. Atreides is our all-time heaviest weaning full-blood Akaushi bull at 732 pounds. So a lot of growth. So all the pieces are there. And you look at 88 especially. So 88 herself is a King David daughter out of 919. She's mellow. She's easy mannered. I mean, this is John's favorite cow in the whole herd. Like, John was here for almost 7 years. And out of all the cows we had, this is John's pick. You know, I haven't told John I'm selling this cow. John will call me up and say, what are you doing selling that one? You know, but the 88, just a super unique individual. Great mannered. She's fertile. You know, she's produced a whole pile of embryos for us. They've been exceptionally high conception. I mean, to make 13 embryos is a big deal. To have 12 of them stick is an even bigger deal. To have all of them carry through to term, born, and look fantastic, come to the top of the calf crop, that's the only reason I can let a cow like this go, is because of how productive she's been. The growth is there. Like I mentioned, she's a maternal sister to Atreides. The marbling is there. Like I mentioned, her mother scans Prime Plus on actual carcass ultrasound. 88 scans Prime Plus on actual carcass ultrasound. So going to be a ton of marbling potential there as well. And then, like I mentioned with longevity, these cattle do last. The feet last, the udders last. They'll continue to be productive for a long time. So a ton of potential return on investment with a cow like this. 88 absolutely is a donor. If you needed to budget, like if you've got money budgeted to buy 5 or 10 cows or whatever else, buy the one. Spend the money on the one good one. Because not only do you not have to feed the other 9 or 10 that are just kind of a cow and are not going to be worth as much in a down market, you are investing in the best of the best polled purebred Akaushi genetics. And I say that without hesitation. This cow is the best of the best polled purebred Akaushi genetics. And you can use that to build a foundation for your herd, for your program, that's going to add all those benefits of polled Akaushi, that's going to add all those benefits of exactly who this female is, and that can be leveraged to make your cattle more valuable for the long haul with a donor like CG Polled Queen 88. If you're staring down the barrel of a tax liability here at year end, Trump's big, beautiful bill did make it possible to write off 100%. Year one, you can write off 100% of what you spend on something like cow. I'm not an accountant. I'm not offering financial advice. I always hear that anytime anyone offers financial advice. But I'm not an accountant and I'm not offering financial advice. So, but if you're someone with a tax liability and you're looking to eliminate that, it's a lot more fun to write a big check for a really cool cow than it is to write a big check for absolutely nothing from your good buddy Uncle Sam, who will squander it in no time flat. So 88, CG Polled Queen 88, take a hard look at that female. That is going to be lot one. Don't let a cow like that get past you, because that's not, I can't offer something like that in every auction. You're not going to run into an 88 over and over again. Like, oh, there's one this time, one next time. Oh, there's plenty of opportunity. Like, there's one CG Polled Queen 88, and she sells December 31 at 6 p.m. I guess I should have mentioned that before I got into all the details. You need to be subscribed at gotanycows.com. If you go to gotanycows.com and subscribe, that'll take you to the Christensen Genetics website. At the bottom, subscribe. You'll get an email when this auction opens. You'll get an email when this auction's closing. Once you're into the auction and have placed a bid, you'll get texts anytime you're outbid, but you need to be subscribed, because what you don't want to have happen is have your year end get super busy, just like I've mentioned how busy mine has been, and you forget and miss an opportunity on a cow like 88. So be sure to go to gotanycows.com, subscribe. You'll get the email link when this auction opens. You'll get emails as the auction's closing, and then mark December 31 at 6 p.m. Mountain, so 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you mark down to be there and be at your computer or on your laptop or I guess on your phone, whatever it is, your iPad, I don't really care. I guess something connected to the internet, and be there when the auction closes out on December 31. Make sure you don't miss out on a cow like 88. So I'll continue forward, but that is the one to make sure you don't miss is 88. Lot 2, another donor. We've seen an aspiration on this cow sell recently. This would be the Heart Brand 2079A cow. This is going to be a Umemaru over Hikari over Akiko. And so if you are looking to bring the original import females like Akiko, which would be the dam of Big House, be one of the original cows that came to the United States in 1994. If you're looking to bring Akiko right to the front of the pedigree, on the maternal side of the pedigree, looking to bring in those original import genetics, 2079A has them as far up front as any cow in the breed. If you're looking to bring something unique, something foundation bred, straight foundation pedigree, straight original import pedigree, I'm looking for a donor that you can add those genetics with, 2079A is going to be lot 2. Lot 3 is going to be none other than a Master Chef daughter. Master Chef, if you're taking a look at Master Chef would be one of the most valuable bulls in the breed. The semen has sold as high as about any bull in the breed. You're going to be thousands of dollars per straw if you can find it. It doesn't trade very often at all. It is difficult to find Master Chef semen. So to get a direct Master Chef daughter, and this female is already old enough, if you wanted to make embryos, you could. If you wanted to just breed this female AI, you could. If you wanted to leave her open for a later calving season, you could. But this is going to be CGX Akiko 4460M. So it's going to be a direct daughter of Master Chef. She is registered with the American Wagyu Association, which means that she is also qualified for registration with the American Akaushi Association and the American Wagyu Association. And so if you're looking to get something extremely valuable on the top side of the pedigree with Master Chef, extremely valuable as far as paperwork, this is a full-blood female, meaning 100% Japanese genetics. And this female is going to be dual and triple registrable, as she is registered with the American Wagyu Association. So 4460, definitely a female not to overlook. And I should mention as well, lots 1, 2, and 3 do come with free delivery anywhere in the continental United States, included in the purchase price. And so you don't have to worry about what it's going to cost to ship them. You don't have to worry about budgeting for that. Included in the purchase price is delivery anywhere in the continental United States on lots 1, 2, and 3. So that gets us through them. Lot 4, this is going to be a young embryo transfer heifer pair. So you're getting a couple of different things here. Let's start with the calf. The calf is going to be a direct daughter of Big Al. Big Al is going to be one of the original import bulls, came in out of Japan actually in his mother's belly. So the Akiko cow that I mentioned earlier arrived in the United States in 1994, pregnant with a bull calf sired by Daiten Mitsumaru. That bull calf was born in 1995, and that is Big Al. So this would be the first full-blood Akaushi bull born outside of Japan, would be Big Al. Really, really broadly regarded as a high marbling sire, obviously an original import sire. I'm going to bring Daiten Mitsumaru right to the front of the pedigree, bring Akiko right to the front of the pedigree. So, you know, really, if you were to say, as far as just like the most universally accepted high quality original import bull, Big Al would be right there as good as any. And then the dam is going to be the 61G donor. 61G is going to be a Brady over Red Emperor over Gabney Ruby female. Very productive donor, very, very strong embryo producer. Produced embryos in volume, which is how this heifer calf came to be. And you do see that follow maternal lines quite often. And so if you were looking for something that might have the capacity to be a really, really strong embryo donor, and you're bringing Big Al, Brady, who's a double-bred Rueshaw, you're bringing Red Emperor and Gabney Ruby all to the front of the pedigree here, in a female that could very well grow up to be a very, very highly productive donor that'll produce embryos in volume quickly. This would be a female to look at. This is just a heifer calf. This is just a baby. She comes with the cow she's nursing. So the cow she's nursing is 9314. 9314 is going to be a 6-year-old commercial Angus cow that she is nursing. 9314 obviously is a proven recip. She's nursing this embryo transfer heifer calf. And if you look at 9314, the beauty of these recips, you absolutely can and should use them again. You know, implant another embryo, get them to carry another calf. And the value of a good recip cow cannot be overstated. These animals are hand sorted by me. I have personally been in the pen with these animals in a confined space. You know that the attitude is going to be right on these cows. You know the fertility is going to be right on these cows. You know they can raise a good one. They've done it for me before. There's a lot of value in having a female like that around that you can put an embryo into. You know, she'll take it. You know, she'll make you a good calf. You know, she'll raise you a good calf. And you're getting both of those things together in lot 4. So you're going to get the Big Al by 61G heifer calf and the 9314 recip cow that is nursing her. So that's going to be lot 4 is the Big Al by 61G heifer pair. Lot 5 is going to be an embryo transfer pair again. In this case, we'll start with the cow. The cow is a registered Angus female. So if you're looking for paperwork on the female, she is a registered Angus female. She is only 3 years old, so very young, right at the front edge of her productive career. She actually was produced in our embryo transfer program. Going to have a ton of performance to this female. This is going to be a Hollywood daughter out of our 9044 donor. So a lot of growth right at the very front edge of the entire Angus breed for growth curve. So if you wanted to use this female to carry registered Angus calves, she absolutely has the genetics to produce her own registered Angus calves. Or if you wanted to use her as a recipient cow to carry an embryo of any breed, which is what we did in this case, she's proven she can do that as well. The calf that she is nursing is a Samsung by 919 bull calf. So Samsung is going to be a Shigeru over Haruko bull. So bringing Haruko as close to the front of the pedigree as you can possibly get it via Samsung. Haruko would be one Dr. Aaron Cooper highly regards, especially for marbling ability. So going to bring a lot of marbling on the top side of that pedigree. 919 I've already mentioned, $300,000 producer. For 3 years was our #1 cow on actual carcass ultrasound. Scans beyond Prime Plus on actual carcass ultrasound without corn. Produced Atreides, who has sold semen for $2,300 a straw and weaned at 732 pounds to hold our record for full blood weaning weight. Pretty long list of accolades for 919. And in this case, lot 5, you are getting that registered Angus recipient with high growth genetics and the papers to go with her. You're getting the bull calf, who is a son of Samsung and a son of 919. So lot 5 is going to be the embryo transfer bull pair. Lot 6, if you're looking for an aspiration. So let's walk through what an aspiration is first, and then I'll walk you through who the cow is that you've got an option on. So an IVF aspiration or an OPU, an oocyte pickup session. An IVF aspiration would be when we take a cow, we take her in. It's Windstar that I mentioned. Ty Barnard over there takes care of our lab work. Dr. Kevin Crandall does the oocyte pickup or does the IVF aspiration. But what they'll do is they'll take this cow and they'll aspirate her, and then they'll fertilize those unfertilized egg cells to the sire of your choice. So what you're buying in this case, if you were the winning bidder on lot 6, you win the right to aspirate my donor to the sire of your choice, and you take ownership of all resulting embryos. So what that ends up looking like is you're spending, the bid is one price, it is one flat price, it's not a bid price per embryo, it is one flat price. It puts you in the driver's seat as to which sire you'd like to put over top of this female, and you can do whatever you'd like. You can get a bull in this sale, you can get semen that you've bought from me previous, you can ship me semen from anywhere else. Whatever bull you'd like to use, we'll take the bull that you choose, we'll put it over this cow, and then you'll receive all resulting embryos. So we've had multiple times before where this has resulted in 14 embryos in a single aspiration, 17 embryos in a single aspiration, 19 embryos in a single aspiration, and we'll guarantee you get at least 5. So if you don't get 5 embryos, we will let you repeat the aspiration at no additional cost to make sure you're getting at least 5 embryos for the dollar you spend on lot 6. So that IVF aspiration, when you're figuring out your budget or figuring out how much you want to bid, know that you can plan on at least 5 embryos, but that there have been times where it's been up into the teens. You get to control who the sire is, and then you receive all resulting embryos. So the donor dam that we are offering the IVF aspiration on for lot 6 is going to be BMR Ms. Judo 56J. And so this is going to be a direct daughter of Judo. So Judo would be one of 2 Akaushi bulls that came in 1976. Judo semen has sold for as much as $10,000 for a single straw. There were only ever 6 bulls that ever left Japan of the Akaushi breed. So if you're looking to have any room to work at all as far as genetic breadth within the Akaushi breed, you pretty well need to have all of those sire lines represented, in addition to as many of the maternal lines as you can get. So looking at a direct Judo daughter, there's a lot of outcross value here. You get the opportunity to, one, tie into a direct daughter of Judo without having to spend the $10,000 to get the straw, and then fertilize a bunch of oocytes, and then stick them in a bunch of cows, and then see what doesn't stick, and then see what isn't female, and then raise them through to maturity. That's all done. That's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to breed the female. You don't have to buy the female. You are just buying the right to make embryos by the sire of your choice out of a Judo daughter. And so you're getting a lot of genetic diversity here, a lot of genetic breadth that gives you a lot of room to work. This female is AWA registered, so again, can be registered in any of the other registries as well. But that AWA paperwork being the most difficult to get, she does have that as well. The buyer is responsible for the semen costs and the lab costs, so be aware to budget for those. And you can use whatever semen you want. You can buy semen in this sale. You can send me expensive semen, cheap semen, whatever it is you want to see put over a Judo daughter. We will put it over for you. Lab costs, you're generally going to be all in, all done about $200 per embryo in production costs. So budget that in, factor that in when you're thinking through, hey, what can I afford to bid? That's about where you're going to be in production cost. And then you pay the one flat price, you get all the embryos. And we will guarantee you get at least 5. So yeah, pretty unique offering. It has been a really, really positive thing, really, really well received, has worked out really, really well for multiple people. So that'd be lot 6, would be the Ms. Judo 56J aspiration. Lot 7 is going to be a bull that you are going to have the opportunity to buy outright, that we have thought enough of to collect semen on. So this is going to be the CG Tsunami 3371 bull. So again, a polled Akaushi bull. So just like I talked about at the start of the episode, a lot of value in not having to worry about horns, a lot of value in not having to worry about setting calves back when you dehorn, or having to worry about the time, the effort, the stress, and the potential of losing one in a worst case scenario for dehorning. Looking at CG Tsunami 3371, he is a polled purebred Akaushi bull, so he's naturally hornless. This is going to be a heterozygous polled Akaushi bull, so when mated to polled cattle, will produce a polled calf. When mated to horned cattle, will produce a polled calf 50% of the time. He's got 1 copy of the polled gene from his sire, Tsunami, and 1 copy of the horn gene from his dam. So CG Tsunami 3371, going to be a polled purebred Akaushi bull. Definitely worth looking at. Take a look at the picture on this bull. This is a thick, stout, impressive 2-year-old bull ready for heavy service. We can get him anywhere in the continental U.S. for you. Not a problem at all. This is going to be a unique herd sire. If you're looking for a polled purebred Akaushi bull ready for heavy service, look at lot 7. Lot 8 is going to be CGX Rueshaw 4407M. This is a Brady son, so a Rueshaw grandson. Brady being a double-bred Rueshaw on the top side. 4407M is going to be a full-blood Akaushi bull. So if you're looking for a bull of 100% Japanese origin, you're looking to bring in those Rueshaw bloodlines, you're looking for AWA paperwork, which means you can go to the Akaushi Association and the Australian Association as well. CGX Rueshaw 4407M is one to look at. Lot 9. Lot 9 is going to be a Master Chef steer. So, I guess to start with on this one, money where my mouth is. Just because a bull has a really cool sire like Master Chef, that cost thousands of dollars for a single straw doesn't mean they all get to remain intact. This bull, you know, beautiful, beautiful steer calf, nice steer calf. But we are not going to leave every single bull that is ever born here intact. Even if they're an embryo transfer bull, even if they're a full blood bull, even if they're sired by someone like Master Chef, all the bells, all the whistles, all the paperwork's done. This is an AWA registered bull. We're still going to, you know, put our money where our mouth is and say, hey, if they're not the very, 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 very best to carry forward with for breeding, we're not going to breed with them. They can still make a great steer. This bull will, or this steer will absolutely put a fantastic carcass on the plate, put a great steak on the plate. But we don't need to leave all of them bulls, and we don't. So if you want to see what Master Chef does and doesn't do on the rail, buy this steer. You know, the biggest benefit here, if you're looking to try feeding out an Akaushi and see what they're like. I mentioned how good that beef is. If you want to put the best beef in your freezer, if you want to feed the best beef to your friends and family, you want to feed out a full-blood Akaushi steer. You know, the cheap part is getting these animals bought. Then you need to feed them. Now you got to put in all this feed, all this time, all this effort, all this butcher expense. And what you don't want to do is put in all that time and effort and expense and have something that's lackluster or that's not exciting or didn't turn out how you wanted it to for an end product. So do yourself a favor and hedge your bet before you start feeding one out and get something that is excellent to begin with. Start with a full-blood Akaushi steer. Let us bring him to you. We can get him to you cost effective, and then you know you are going to have a quality eating experience when you're done. So if you want a Master Chef steer, bet on lot 9. Jumping into embryos, lot 10, direct Rueshaw embryos. Rueshaw 430. This would be the 1975 Japanese national champion, one of only 2 Akaushi or Red Wagyu bulls brought into the United States in 1976. Rueshaw semen has sold for as much as $22,000 for a single straw. This is the most expensive bull in the Akaushi breed, and for good reason. These cattle look the part. These cattle gain well. These cattle are a beautiful deep red color. These cattle provided much needed outcross. There were only 6 bulls ever brought into the United States, 4 in the 90s, 2 in the 70s. If you're looking for a unique and valuable outcross, something highly marketable, as far as embryos, if you're going to tie up a recip, don't tie it up with something that's of subpar quality. Tie it up with the best of the best embryo quality. Lot 10 is going to be direct Rueshaw embryos, 3 of them out of our ZO23 donor. ZO23 is a direct Judo daughter. So you are stacking Rueshaw, one of the 1976 imports, directly over Judo, the other 1976 import, whose semen sells for $10,000, has sold for up to $10,000 for a single straw. And behind that, you've got Hikari over Kunisaki. So you've got 2 direct die 10 offspring on the bottom side of the pedigree, and we're going right back to the original import cow, Kunisaki. And so looking at that pedigree, these embryos are Rueshaw over Judo, over Hikari, over Kunisaki. Straight original import pedigree, brings one of the original maternal lines right to the front of the pedigree. There is as much outcross value in these embryos as any embryos that will sell anywhere in the United States this year, period. Lot 10, 3 embryos, direct Rueshaw. Don't miss out on these. These embryos are worth the bid. Again, the embryos are the cheap part. Getting cows gathered, synchronized, implanted, and carrying that calf through to turn. All of that is where the challenge lies. Don't do all of that time and effort and work and expense on anything less than the best. These are the best of the best. Rueshaw over ZO23 embryos. There are 3 of those. Is lot 10. Don't miss those. Lot 11, extremely valuable embryos. Again, FX14 is the sire. FX14 to be the darling of the Australian Wagyu database. Among all red Wagyu bulls in the Australian Wagyu database, FX14 is king for marbling. So if you're chasing the Australian Wagyu EBV system, or now WBV system, you are looking for FX14. That semen was unavailable in the United States until recently. If you can get a hold of it, it's going to cost you $10,000 plus per straw. One of the most expensive bulls in the breed. And again, we didn't put this bull over a slouch of a cow. And I want to go on, a little bit of a rant here, but there is no need to take fantastic bulls and put them across subpar cows, okay? It needs to be said. There is no need to put great bulls over just any given cow with a pulse. If you're going to use a great bull, use him on a great cow. Use him on a cow with an excellent pedigree. Use him on a cow with an excellent production record. Use him on a cow that moves you towards your established production goals. Do not use a high-end bull on just any given cow just because he's a great bull. A donkey bred to a thoroughbred is still half donkey. The point I'm making here is that if you're going to go ahead and buy expensive semen, use it on great cows. And that is what we did here. Lot 11 is FX14 over 9961Y. So 9961Y is going to be a Umemaru over Big Al over Himawari. So 9961Y is the only living Himawari maternal line female in the entire AWA database, American Wagyu Association database. The only exception would be her daughters. So this is the cow that is closest to the original import Himawari in the entire American Wagyu Association database. And then she's been mated to FX14, who is the closest living descendant, along with his brother Viral, of the original import cow, Namiko. FX14 is going to be a Big Al over Hikari over Namiko. And so this pedigree together, you're going to be bringing Namiko as close to the front of the pedigree as you possibly can, providing outcross value through that maternal line. And a lot of carcass data out of Australia and New Zealand would indicate Namiko and Hikari as two of the strongest maternal and paternal lines in the breed for actual carcass quality. And then you're going to take that, and then you got Big Al over top of that to make FX14, who's risen to the top of the Australian Wagyu Association database. You're going to put that over Umemaru, over Big Al, over Himawari. 9961Y has been an extremely productive female, an excellent embryo donor, has raised a whole series of calves for a whole series of years. This is a productive, fertile, long-lived female with the right pedigree, mated to the right kind of bull. FX14 over 9961Y embryos in lot 11. Lot 12, again, extremely valuable semen. Umemaru, direct son of Katie Maru, sired by Hikari, going to be one of the breed's best for marbling and docility. If you're looking to make cattle that are easy mannered like Katie Maru. Lot 12, Umemaru embryos. Umemaru semen is thousands of dollars per straw if you can find it. And there's just not that many people willing to part with Umemaru semen. Again, a donor dam here that is not a slouch because we don't flush cows that don't need to be flushed. D40 is going to be a Big Al over Hikari over Kunisaki. And so again, you're bringing that Kunisaki maternal line right to the front of the pedigree. This is a triple bred die 10 female. So Big Al's a die 10 Mitsumaru son. Hikari is a die 10 Mitsumaru son, and Kunisaki is a die 10 Mitsumaru daughter. So D40 brings as much die 10 Mitsumaru influence into the pedigree as you can find, in addition to the maternal line of Kunisaki. And then she's been mated to Umemaru, who again is a double die 10, with Hikari being a die 10 Mitsumaru son and Katie Maru being a die 10 Mitsumaru daughter. Now, why would we want to concentrate that much die 10 Mitsumaru blood into one pedigree? Die 10 Mitsumaru never left Japan. Die 10 Mitsumaru semen never left Japan. Die 10 Mitsumaru was king of the Japanese herd book at the time of the exports. So if you're looking to get as much of that influence as you can into one pedigree, you can't get any more, or any more valuable pedigree or any more die 10 Mitsumaru influence than lot 12, which would be the Umemaru D40 embryos. Jumping down, we're going to go through a whole nother bunch of fantastic embryos, but I'm not going to go through every single lot because there are 50 of them. So another series of great embryos. I'm going to jump to the semen. I'll do an Angus embryo lot just so nobody says I forgot the Angus. Prolific female sexed over 9044 embryos. Prolific is going to be one of my very favorite bulls that was at stud at ST Genetics in Tiffin, Ohio in fall of 2022. Really thick muscled bull. These are female sexed embryos that were produced in a conventional setting. So give you about 15% conception rate boost over their IVF counterparts. 9044, really easy calving, really high growth kind of a female. So you're getting basically exactly what you want for a foundation female. Easy calving, fast growing, beautiful cattle to look at. That's going to be what that is. Conclusion over 1051. In lot 19, Angus embryos. Conclusion is a direct son of the $10 million producer, Sandpoint Blackbird 8809. Easy calving, fast growing kind of a bull. 1051 is a direct daughter of SAV Black Cat May 8980. She'd be a full sister in blood to SAV Resource 1441. One of the kingpin bulls of the breed. Resource and his full brother Renown would be as popular of brothers as there have been in the last 10 years in the Angus breed. And then the dam 8980, the dam of 1051, is a full sister to the famous SAV Black Cat May 4136, who again has done $10 million in direct progeny sales. So you are stacking arguably the two highest revenue producing females in the history of the Angus breed in 8809 and a full sister to 4136 right up front in this pedigree. Conclusion over 1051 embryos. Jump into lot 20, which would be female sexed semen from the Nikkei bull. This has been offered previously in our auctions. This is going to be an FX14 son, but in female sexed, as female sexed semen. So if you're looking to make females and bring in that FX14 bull, that's how you can do it. Lot 21 is the Atreides bull. Atreides semen is sold for up to $2,300 for a single straw. His sire is JC Rueshaw 75, who sold for $500,000 for the bull, and his semen inventory is not available on the open market. Costs thousands of dollars per straw if and when you can ever find it. Atreides also broke our weaning weight record for a full-blood bull at 732 pounds, is backed by the 919 cow that we've gone through a couple of times. Great marbling cow, high revenue producer. Big Al over Hikari over Shigamaru over Ume, so clean foundation pedigree there. AWA registered, lot 21, Atreides. Lot 22 is Genesis, Rueshaw over Judo over Rueshaw over Akiko, so clean 1976 imports 3 times over a 1994 import Akiko. Jumping down below that, we're going to go into the Polled Akaushi semen, starting with lot 30, which is the initial release of the CG Tsunami 3371 bull, who again, thick-muscled, heavy-built bull, 30 seconds, polled purebred Akaushi. Going to be an exciting opportunity there. If you happen to have polled purebred Akaushi that are not quite purebred, that are the result of mating a 15/16 female or bull to a 7/8, usually a 15/16 bull to a 7/8 female. So now you've got this 90% polled purebred Akaushi that isn't quite purebred, with the threshold being 93.75%. This is the semen you want. You definitely want this. Money where my mouth is, that's what I have done with this semen. It has gone over our 577 donor who lands in that category, just a hair under purebred. This bull is just a hair over purebred, being a 31/32 rather than a 15/16. So those will average out and give you a 15/16 calf. That'd be a purebred. Lot 31, Guapo 3352 semen. Guapo is a stud. If you showed up here today and you went through all the bulls, the bull you would be asking me about is Guapo. When you see Guapo in the pen, he is thick, he is stout, he is expressive muscled, ton of hip to the bull, deep flank to the bull, strong top to the bull, a lot of width to base, just power, muscle, mass, performance. If you looked through the calves, your favorite calf in the crop, he's a Guapo. Favorite flush in the crop, they're Guapos. The reason I'm willing to let that 88 donor go in lot 1, because she's got a great flush of Guapos. Guapo is a bull that I think got slept on a little bit early. He's just 2 years old, so it's just his first calf crop that's here now, but they are wicked good. If you are looking to make polled purebred Akaushi with a ton of muscle, a ton of mass, a ton of gainability, ton of look, you want Guapo. This semen isn't going to get cheaper. It was kind of cheap for a minute there, before people knew what he was. Now there have been pictures put out of this bull's calves. People know what these calves can do. People that have seen the bull know what he is. People that have seen these calves know how good they are. Guapo is a breed-changing kind of bull as far as muscle mass and look and taking the horns off every time. He's an outcross bull, CG Guapo 3352. There's going to be another series of polled purebred Akaushi options, and then going to be some great buys on Angus, Hereford, and Charolais semen to close out the sale. That is going to wrap it up for what we're going to offer. A quick note on auction closing that I want to throw in here and make sure everyone understands. The auction is a horse race style finish. A horse race style finish means that every time a bid is placed on any lot in the final 5 minutes, the entire auction will extend by an additional 5 minutes. So what that means is the auction can close right at 6 if there's no bids whatsoever in the final 5 minutes. More often, the auction will be extended by 30 minutes or 60 minutes. It has extended by up to 2 hours before, depending on how many bids continue to come in and continue to extend that auction by an additional 5 minutes. Every time there's any bidding in the final 5, it'll reset that closing clock to 5 minutes. So just want you all to know that that is how this auction is going to close out. It can take anywhere from no time at all up to an hour or two, usually 30 to 60 minutes of active bidding right at the close. There's a lot of activity there. That's why I recommend that you be present and able to bid as needed. I would also invite you to please refresh your computer. Refresh your computer, refresh your phone, refresh your iPad, refresh whatever you got to refresh. There have been cases before where people think they are winning another bid came in, they didn't see it come up on their screen, and the auction closed, they thought they won, and then the auction says, hey, you didn't win. And they're like, what happened? Please refresh. Please refresh. Your phone, your computer or phone, quite often you'll see those bids come in on their own, but if you don't consistently refresh, there is the possibility of having it look like you're winning and you think you're winning and you think it's going to close out and be yours, and then you find out that you didn't win. So yeah, just housekeeping items there, but without fail, each auction, I've got somebody asking me, hey, this was supposed to close at 6. Why is it still open at 6:30 or 7 or 7:30 or 8? And it's because it's a horse race style finish. It'll extend by an additional 5 minutes every time there's a bid in the closing 5 minutes. And the other thing that has happened, unfortunately, multiple times is people have thought they won a lot, but they didn't refresh often enough, and for whatever reason, it looked like they're winning, and then it closes out and they're not. So please refresh consistently, please be present, and best of luck winning what you want in this upcoming auction, December 31 at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So appreciate all of you. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Grateful for all of you. Appreciate all that you do for us. Appreciate your support of our business. If there's anything at all I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. You can call or text 208-589-9988. You can hop on our website, gotanycows.com, and subscribe. You can email me, Seth@christensengenetics.com. You can catch us on the Got Any Cows podcast Facebook group, where you can suggest guests that you'd like brought on, topics that you'd like covered, things that you'd like put in some of these upcoming auctions. Definitely want to interact with you. I do this for you. Appreciate you and appreciate your support. So thanks for tuning in, buddy. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Got Any Cows podcast. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and visit us anytime at gotanycows.com.